he said the S word. What's up, Internet? Big J with Big J's Extreme Fitness. Cheers, everybody that signed on to watch this video. There's not going to be any intensity. There's no workouts. There's no slap city. There's no screaming. Woo! Psych. I couldn't let you guys go the whole video without seeing some type of intensity. Stay tuned for that video coming out soon. I wanted to talk to you guys about a subject that I just did a Periscope video on, but only for a couple of seconds. I wanted to touch on it just a little bit more so and spread a little bit of my information and knowledge that I've developed over the last 34 years of training and working out with some of the greatest bodybuilders and powerlifters and people of the world in the fitness community. And I want to make sure that you guys receive it with an open mind, okay? So don't click on the video thinking, yeah, he's going to go over a cycle, or he's going to tell us how many cc's of this to take, or, you know, I'm going to take this many because I weigh this. No, it's nothing like that at all. It's just kind of a comparison in layman's terms, man science, if you will, of what my experience is to help me get bigger and stronger. If you ask any of these bodybuilders out nowadays, A, they're not going to tell you what their cycle is. B, they're not going to tell you how much they're eating, because C, they think that you're trying to be better than them. And you know, there are a lot of bodybuilders that help others, and there are a lot of YouTubers that give out extremely intelligent information on YouTube, and there are some that don't give out that good of information. But I just want to touch on a subject that I've only touched on twice, my steroid use and posing and steroid use. I can't remember what the titles are called. I'll put the links in the description box below. But I want you to sit back and think about this. People that just get started into the fitness community, they want gains quickly, as I do. I've been doing this for 35 years, and I still want gains. It's hard to gain when you're at the end of the train, okay? You're at the caboose, you've driven the train, you've ridden in the train, you've talked to the people that are riding and driving the train, and now at the end of my, I don't want to say the end of my career, but I'm not ever going to get back on stage again. I don't have the desire to, but I still like to train with intensity, but I definitely don't train with as much intensity as I used to back when I was competing, for a job or a title or, obviously the entertainment, but it was something that I did for 10 years straight. I hadn't done it in 13 or 14 years now. So when you want to talk about steroid use or nutrition or training or cycling or, cardiovascular training or carbohydrate manipulation or any of those that are involved, as a common denominator is your body. So let's go into the man science of it all. Okay, take a car. Okay, it's got a motor. Let's take a regular old stock 350 Chevrolet motor, 70s or 80s model. Let's stay in the 70s so we can keep it carbureted. It's a lot simpler than explaining fuel injection. So you've got a motor, it's a block, you've got a crank, you got rods, you got pistons, you've got the cam, you got the push rods, you got the lifters, you got the heads on top, you got valves, intake and exhaust valves, you got exhaust ports, you got the intake, you got the carburetor. Okay, that's basically your motor. If you change just a little bit of that motor, you're going to gain a little bit more horsepower, okay? So let's put a different cam in it. But we got to make sure that we put the lifters and the push rods in the valves and the valve springs that will accommodate for a bigger lift, because it's, going to be a harder press, and those springs that can't just collapse. They've got to resist. So then you modify that, and then you need a little bit more fuel, so you put a different intake on it, so you're getting more air, but the fuel mixture comes from a different carburetor with different jets, etc. And I know I'm speaking French to some of you guys, but I know I'm speaking down to earth to a lot of you guys and gals that understand cars. But it doesn't matter what kind of a block, carb, piston, rods, crank, anything you have in that, you got to make sure that you fuel it, okay? So if it's not lubricated and fueled, it's not going to run, period. So you could take, your body, which is the block and the motor, and you can put, different heads, different cam, different crank. For conversational purposes, really a bigger cam, better heads, headers, a larger carburetor, a higher rise intake for more air and more fuel, and to get the exhaust out quicker would basically be the results that you're getting from progressive overload in the weight room, okay? So because your block and your body is what you've got, you're not changing that, you're just, you are changing it, but you're adding that results from the weight training. To accessorize your physique, you add a turbo or a supercharger or a blower or nitrous. That would be like adding the steroids to your block. Once you finally get the right dosage of your steroids, and once you get the right fuel intake with your food, your protein, your carbs, and your vegetables and your fats, and then you got the right weight room to go to, it's a comparison to having the right car, the right nitrous, the right supercharger, blower, whatever kind of, the rear end. You got different gear ratio. You've got the posi track unit. You've got the slicks. You got it all. And then you go to the track and you're watching the Christmas tree and you get, your red lights, and then it goes down into your double whites. And then, you're still not even in gear and you've got your foot on the brake with your right foot. You're not even double footing it. You're not even using your trans brake. You're not ready to go. You're not in drive. You've got to actually utilize hardcore, intense weight training too. Once you finally get your fuel, your food, and your nitrous, your steroids in check. Because there's some people out there that don't have to train as hard as others. They're genetically gifted. But 99.999% of us are not that gifted. We have to train. You have to get into a progressive overload. So once you get your steroids, again, not condoning, I'm just telling you a story. Once you get your food, the proper nutrients, and the amount of food that you need to burn rubber down that track, you get up there. You do your burnout. You get your tires all gummy. You get up to the line. You get your double lights. And you're ready. You're watching. And you got your hand on the trans brake. As soon as that second light comes on, bam, you're on the way. Instead, there's people that when they don't weight train, they have everything ready to rock and roll. They don't do a burnout. They roll up to the tree, and then they're looking and making sure that somebody's going to take a picture of them. And then the tree's double white. This guy's already gone. He's like, oh, okay, it's time to go. I'm going to put it in park reverse neutral drive, and then I'm going to take my foot off of the brake for my right foot, and I'm going to put my right foot on the gasoline, and I'm going to shift 1, 2, 3, burr, burr, burr. They wonder why they're not getting results. They're taking the steroids, they're eating the food, but they're not hitting the gym hard. You got to get in there and crush it with intensity. It's safety. Don't hurt yourself, but you got to train hard too. It's a huge equation. I've been asked by thousands of people in the 35 years I've been doing this, and the 22 years I've owned my gym, and the 20 plus years that I've trained people, what do I take? How many steroids do you take? What food do you eat? Really, the steroids sort of matters, but because, here's the story, I'm going to tell you a true story. When I started competing, I competed naturally for the first 2 years, and I was only a certain size. But then I got on a steroid cycle, and I started getting bigger, and I was like, wow, hell yeah, man, I'm getting bigger, I'm getting stronger, so I'm lifting more weight. So there's a progressive overload with the weight training, and the weights are making me bigger, and then I was hurting myself a lot, so I had somebody tell me, you need to get on steroids that do this for you, so I started changing up the steroids, and I was getting only a little bigger, but when I finally got with the right person, he said, you know what, it doesn't matter what kind of steroids you're taking, you need to make sure you're eating enough fuel. You need to fuel yourself. And he gave me the car analogy. I've been a mechanic all my life. I'm a certified and degreed mechanic. I don't work on cars anymore. I do every now and then, but it's beside the fact, I did not understand it until somebody broke it down to me in layman's terms of your body's kind of like a vehicle. Of course, it's a completely different thing. You have a living being versus a mechanical machine. But if you don't realize the comparison of, okay, I'm going to start running this much testosterone. Okay, it's working to an extent. I'm going to start running this much more. I'm going to start running this more. I know kids, and I don't want to call them kids, I know people that are taking more steroids than I was taking when I was 250 pounds shredded on stage. And they're not growing. You know why? Because they're not eating. The bottom line to this topic in this video is to tell you guys, please, do not overdose on steroids, okay? Do not think that taking more steroids is going to help you, because you've got to do your weight training. You can't think that you can take 4 C's or 3 C's or even 2 C's of test and everything else that you guys and gals are taking and get results in the gym without properly fueling yourself. I'm spitting all over myself because I'm passionate about it. You got to make sure that you're eating not necessarily tons of calories, but good calories, okay? So I don't really want to get into a macronutrient manipulation conversation because that's totally different. But I do want to tell you, eat your food. Steroids come second. Your fuel is the most important. They are a supplement. They help you recover faster. Yes, they make your joints and your tendons and your muscles recover quicker and a little bit stronger and hydrate them. But your fuel is the only thing that gets you to propulse forward, just like the motor in the car, what we began the conversation with. If you have amazing pistons, rods, crank, cam, heads, intake, carburetor, headers, you name it, the fuel, higher octane fuel has got to be put in the body with the protein and the carbs and the fats and the vegetables to be able to propulse your body forward. Okay, it is the most important. Yes, I would sacrifice when I was competing, taking steroids versus getting the fuel, because the steroid, let's say, for example, you're about to go train legs, and you haven't eaten all day yesterday, and you're not going to eat today, and you're about to go train legs. You know what? I'm going to take me 2 C's of 200 milligram testosterone, and I'm going to take 300 C's, 300 milligrams of DECA, and I'm going to take a Anadrol 50 tablet. Yeah, you're going to get some kind of results and effects from that. You will be hydrated, and your joints and everything will be lubricated, and everything else you guys know that the steroids do. But without the fuel, the food, the carbohydrates, and the protein and the fats in your body, you're not going to benefit from that workout at all. You're going to hurt yourself, by gosh, because that is the actual raw energy that your body needs. So, bottom line, again, take your steroids. Make sure that you do it smartly. Make sure that you're taking just enough for your body. Don't look at what somebody getting on stage at 250 to 275 pounds is taking and go, okay, I'm 180 pounds. I want to get there. I want to take exactly what he or she's taking, which she's probably lying about it to begin with, because I did used to take more so when I first started. And then when I got stronger and bigger, because I was eating more food, not because I was taking more steroids, I started backing down the steroids. And to be honest with you, I couldn't afford any of it to begin with. You know, I'm paying for a business, I'm paying for a family, I'm putting food on the table, I'm paying my taxes. I, had other jobs to keep my head above the water, because you've got your hotel fees, you've got your traveling fees, you've got your training fees. If you have a trainer, you got your tanning. I mean, you guys know it's a lot to put, especially the extra supplementation on top of all the refrigerators full of food that you're eating every day. So it's expensive. Bottom line, real quick, again, you got to fuel your body, okay? Don't over-steroid yourself. This is not a video. Please understand. This video is not telling you how to take your steroids. I'm not condoning or condemning steroid use. I'm just telling you what I've experienced over the last 30-plus years that I've been in this industry, in the 10 years continually that I competed on stage. What was better for me? Fueling. That is better to the overall end result. You've got to put fuel in your motor for it to even crank and or run proficiently. Hope you guys enjoyed these tips. Hope it didn't step on anybody's toes. You guys leave comments in the description box or the comment section below. Check the description box for all my social media. I'm pretty active on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Yes, I do Snap. Not very often, but every now and then. And make sure that you do make wise decisions. Until next time, intensity rules, train hardcore, and we'll see you next video.